A lot of analysts and debaters have tried to look at the problem of inability or unsuccessful resistance of Africans to European imperial activities and the subsequent colonial structures that were established by the Europeans. But if you try to look into the reality on the ground at that period, you understand the factors that really affected the inability of Africans to effectively resist European colonialism and imperialist activity. Well, our analysis and presentation will be focused mainly on the Nigerian area, the inability of Nigerians to resist the activities, or the inability of people living in the Nigerian area to resist the colonial activities of the British. We look at the factors that worked against them. One of the factors was that the British were already operational in the Nigerian area, in many areas or in many sectors in the Nigerian area, be it on the economic sector, on the political sector, and to a certain level on the socio-cultural sector. With the issue of British citizens, merchants coming into the Nigerian area, missionaries as well coming into the Nigerian area, Nigerians welcomed them, but without really understanding their main intentions. These intentions, the British subjects were already pushing through without the knowledge of Nigerians. Well, before the scramble for Africa, the British subjects and merchants were already in existence, and they were already making a serious impact in the Nigerian area. One major group that played a very important role in the British colonial activities in the Nigerian area was the merchants that came together to form the Royal Niger Company. One of them that was very influential was George Tabangoda. The Royal Niger Company signed a lot of treaties with some leaders in the Nigerian area on behalf of the British. Well, let us look at the next factor. This next factor was the British used three key methods. The British used three key methods or three key means to get treaties from leaders or rulers in territories in the Nigerian area. Most of these rulers were not literate on the area of English language and some other European languages. Most of them ended up signing treaties that they did not understand. The Europeans or the British explained a different thing to them and had a different thing contained in the treaties that these people signed. Most of them signed with the intention that they were actually having or trying to create some level of diplomatic or economic relationship with the British without really knowing that they were signing up their territories. Well, the concept of literacy was a major role. But when we look at it from this angle, someone can say it is the concept of literacy as regards or as it has to do with the knowledge of English language. Well, the next one was that the British formed a very strong army with which they used in conquering most territories in Nigeria. in the Nigerian area, basically. The army or the army of the British had British soldiers as part of it, and a good number of West African soldiers. Precisely, the British established the West African Frontier Force, which was made up of both the British and African soldiers. They were very equipped, highly equipped, and well trained, but they were led by the British officers. I know the argument here will be, why was it that African soldiers were involved? Now, remember that at that period, there was nothing like Nigeria. The area had empires, kingdoms, communities, and stateless societies living independent of each other. And before the British came, there were military or war-based interactions between or among these people. So it was very easy for the British to recruit people with the promise that they were to help the British to fight against other people. In most cases, these armies were not fully informed as regards the objectives of the British leaders or rulers or imperial forces. The next one was that many of the non-states or the nation states in the Nigerian area had no standing army. Many of them had no standing army. Some of them were actually using the structure of, when there is need for military expedition or for them to defend themselves, men will be gathered together in order to come and defend their territory. Now, when you look at such set of people or such group of people facing a well-structured and organized and well-equipped British army, you will agree with me that there is no match between the two sides. In this situation, the Nigerian area military, organized military, surely lost. They couldn't match the British organized forces. Remember, most of the people that were being gathered had no military knowledge. The next one was that the British troops used modern weapons. Weapons like cannons, magazine guns, repeater rifles, and all of which were of superior quality as at that period, against most of the Nigerian territories, or most of the territories in the Nigerian area that could not even boast of guns. Most of them were using arrows, bows to fight a British army that was well equipped with the likes of cannons and other weapons. So you can also see that they stood no chance. The next one we can look at here was that some nation states were already weak due to internal crisis. Some nation states in the Nigerian area were already weak due to internal crisis. A good number of them, one of them was the Borno Empire. Before the British conquered and took over Borno Empire, the empire was already very weak. There were strong external influences and internal issues that were seriously affecting the growth or the sustenance or the power sustenance of the empire. So when the British showed interest in taking it over, there was little or no major resistance against the British interests. We have to look at the next factor, was that some communities or some territories in the Nigerian area openly accepted British protection in question and British relationship, which some of them did not understand, while some understood. But the bottom line was that some of them, because of the fact that they witnessed or saw what the British did to their neighbors, decided to surrender their territory to the British. Some as well decided to bring in the British as a form of protection against against stronger neighbors that were actually having conflict with them. And they found out that they could not match the stronger neighbors. They ran to the British for protection, thereby losing the independence of their territories. Let's look at another one. That the Nigerian leaders who proved patriotic and decided to stand their ground against the British imperial interests were conquered and sent into exile. And some of the other leaders or rulers in the Nigerian area that saw this decided not to fight the British. Some of them saw how powerful leaders or rulers were conquered and sent into exile. Some of these people decided not to fight the British because they know for sure, or they felt that for them to challenge the British or fight the British, that their capacity cannot hold on or cannot handle it, and their actions might end up being to futility. Well, some of them had to just give up their territories. Well, you will believe with me that it was really a highly coordinated interest or coordinated activities of the British. The British looked towards the weaknesses or the inabilities or the inefficiencies or inadequacies of these Nigerian rulers or the rulers of the territories in the Nigerian area in order to come against them. That actually settles well most of what is being looked upon as why didn't Africans resist. Most Africans or most areas in Africa that were subjected to colonial activities or colonial rule did not just open their arms and welcome the colonial rulers. Most of them objected, most of them protested, most of them resisted. But unfortunately, majority of them were subdued by European powers as at that period. If you're watching us for the very first time, please do us the justice of subscribing to our channel. And if you are part of those that have been with us and continue to be with us, we appreciate your commitment, your collaboration with us. We also beg you to share our contents so that it will reach others. We also appreciate any form of collaboration with you. Thanks for being part of this channel.